Fast forward, you come what on your social so I'm say how say AGH Politics Avenue. Podcast story say training because make headline. Jembre na EDB exum ewo ha ni di mini ahun braxium. Say any AD kan ya message so bit subscribe to the channel. Hit notification bell so share. Na afia for so ensa into enkabe ni di ahun braxium. Mr. Rock say ye be koyin simu. Unia ye koyin simu. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ababontin abakan. Say Auditors General Report about Bontia. Yes, yes, you may say you see, Scasia Fanisase, and a Scasia for institution we see as a Nini Mono, ye just cannot near Jessica Fiabi, ye Jennifer Crono say uncle, Debbie, or say, at the moment, Bubbling say Auditor General Report, say Bonisi in the wood, you know, Deeper Crono, at least. When check G term cramp ninja be an 6 months be ubi ya sanji scano na or say only auditor general a barber transit na umashi kwanya umbefa so umbiti me si chronon katase share it me EPP a auditors general report when is sama hodo a course watching on so mama no so general or ha abuja for transit asemu omobo yinchimu aha GH Politics Avenue. Mr. Say Yonkuyin Simu.
2.7 also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. Now, you earlier had the president, his position on the malfeasance that is captured, financial malfeasance captured in the Auditor General's report over the years. And the Public Accounts Committee always having to lament about this. And Alfred Appiah is a data scientist, is joining us on Zoom right now. Alfred, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Now, the president says, look, after this Auditor General's report over the years has captured these levels of infractions and the monies that the state loses, and in some instances, the Auditor General is able to recover, just a fraction of it. There should be something more to deter public servants who get involved in these actions that cost the state money. Throw them in and so on for 6 months, and that should be as a deterrent, and then find a way of recovering it. Why do you say that the Auditor General's report should not or may not be a potent measure of the financial malfeasance in the public sector?
Yeah, Alfred, I think my main point is about the definition of irregularities, right, that is captured in the Auditor General's report. I think that a lot of the times we take the bulk definition of or the bulk amount. So, for example, 2024, when you look at the public corporations, right, there's 18.4 billion cedis in financial irregularities. But when you actually disaggregate the data and try to understand the components of it, the bulk of it over the years is usually has to do with unpaid debt, right? So, and a lot of the times it is agency to agency unpaid debt. So, for instance, in 2024, right, there's 18.4 billion, but about 12.5 of that is money that ECG owed We Power, right? So, when we look at that, it's just money that is owed. So now we have to, of course, we have to follow the money. So the money is, so why was the money not paid, and get to understand that. So my main point is that when we say financial irregularities, at least based on the auditor's report, right, it's not always that it is money that is stolen or it is money that is missing. It's just a lot of it is just debt. And when you look on the screen, I show the chart. When you look at from 2020 all the way to 2024, over that 5-year period, you can see that almost always the bulk of the financial irregularities is due to that outstanding debt. Now, you can make the point that 2024, the others, which would include like cash and procurement and all of those things, increased quite a bit. Like the share is quite significant. But when you look at that in detail, you see a lot of it is also still cash, which is 4.58. And when you actually read the auditor's report, it talks about ECG under declaring revenues. And so part of that is ECG under declared revenue, also or didn't pay IPPs, right? So all of that will be captured as part of those financial regularities, and rightly so. But the audit itself would say that about 80-something% of that money is recoverable, right? So I think we just have to put these numbers in context, right? And I think a lot over the years, and to me, I make the point that it is also things like that that leads to estimations of like $21 billion that should be recovered through oral and all of that, and then creates this expectation, right? Now, I'm not in any way trying to downplay the level of rot or the level of waste in the public service. I'm just saying that the auditor's report alone doesn't really tell us significantly much. When you follow the Public Accounts Committee, you hear of like the little ones, like the payroll, and these ones. Some teacher got some money, or some employee got some money that they didn't work for, and all of that. Those are little. To me, a lot of the big ones, like your SMLs and all those ones, wouldn't even show up in the auditor's report. So the obvious, like the ones that go through a lot of like sophisticated schemes to basically be corruption, don't show up in the auditor's report. So I just think that we might be over the years might have been the proxy that we use for waste in the public service might not be accurate in the sense that in the definition of the auditor's report.
Right, but you see, Alfred, I totally understand you. But then again, the point you make that 80% of the monies captured as irregularities are recoverable. The most important denominator is whether they actually recovered.
Yes, and I think the auditor also reports on that, right? So every year.
That's the point I'm trying to make, that the 80% every year is not recovered. Not all the 80% is recovered, right? The Auditor General will come give us updates of a fraction of the irregularities recovered. So yes, you would understand why the president will make that statement. That
absolutely
there has to be a way of stopping this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we have to trace the issue to, so for example, if the bulk of the irregularity is debts, why is ECG not able to pay its debts, right? So we have to do that root cause analysis to understand what is happening at ECG that is making it unable to pay its debt. I don't think a lot of in a lot of cases, like we know about all the procurement issues at ECG, right? We know about all the over procurements. You know, the minister has said it cancels a contract and things like that. So I think we need the discussion to be more comprehensive than so we need to throw people in jail. Well, how do we get to that? And I think it's that mentality that also makes it hard, right? Because we haven't really taken the time to understand the root causes of that, and we think that jail time is probably the main thing that we think about. But I just feel like we just need to make the analysis a little bit more comprehensive to get to the root causes.
Well, and I appreciate you for this. This is just a beginning of a bigger conversation on this matter. Alfred, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. It's a data scientist and a public policy analyst, Alfred, appeared there. I thank you. But before we go, we got a release from the presidency. This is a statement announcing deputy heads of missions. The presidency has just announced the appointment of deputy heads of missions of the Republic of Ghana. And there are some names in there that are striking as well. And that's also generated some attention. You see there, for Dr. Palmer Appiajan, Federal Republic of Germany, Deputy Head of Mission, Francesca Jacon, Swiss Federation, Ben Doche Malo is in there as well. You also have General Thomas Opompepra. He's a former Chief of Defense Staff, also named in there as the Deputy Head of Mission to Canada. The former CDS, General Thomas Opompepra. Sulemana Ibn Idrisu, Republic of India. Harry Zevon, Dr. Harry Zevon, People's Republic of China. And then also you have Aquinas Kwanzaa. It's a former member of parliament. It's the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and Ireland. That's what you have, at least this based on the statement that we have in there. And also George Harrison, Republic of Korea, Jemilatu Amadou, United Arab Emirates, Emmanuel Neche Apedo, the Netherlands, Sofia Karin, Edem Akwaku, Italian Republic as well, and then also Francis Thalamus Do, also Japan, Sani Jaja, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Čǒrrǔpt, Jomo, Republic of Turkey. And we also have Emmanuel Kamban, Panyan, Russian Federation, Al-Hassan Mohammed Saidu, Isa Abba, Republic of South Africa, Mohammed ibn Chambas, Mohammed ibn Abbas, Mohammed ibn Abbas, Arab Republic of Egypt, as Mohammed ibn Abbas, and Reverend Isaac Clive Mould. Reverend Dr. Isaac Clive Mould is a pastor of Action Chapel International, also heading to the Kingdom of Denmark. So that's the development in there. I want to say
Addo in the Savannah region. And a further one madman in Banda and Kwanta, also in the Savannah region.
That's ACP Francis Yeribari then, now giving us updates of what's happening as the Upper West Regional Police Commander. Now, let me just chronicle a few of the murder cases that we're talking about and why these arrests we're talking about is crucial to the investigations over the last 4 years. In 2021, were 10 private security men, or to call them watchmen, who were killed under mysterious circumstances, and we reported a number of them. 5 of them are still missing. Others, their lifeless bodies were found with some body parts missing. And then fast forward to 2024, July, and these 10 we're talking about were at different dates in 2021. So we put them all together. Now, in 2024, on the 15th of July, a driver's mate was also killed at Dobele in cold blood. Now, they've been looking for the suspect over the period. Fast forward to the 18th of June, 2 security guards of the WA Model School, that we want to call them watchmen essentially, and that of the WA East District Education Office were both killed as well. Then fast forward to September 21st, 2025, just a few days ago, in fact, a little over a month ago, and that's 2 weeks ago, I beg your pardon, we saw this about 7:30. Yaya Issa, aged 55 years, was the latest to have been killed in Wa. This was just this year. Now, it raises concern as to what exactly has been happening. And that's why this arrest, you hear the police commander talk about it being crucial to the understanding what's going on. Ibrahim Ongara is connecting with us from the Upper West region. He's been monitoring this particular situation. And Ibrahim, thank you for connecting with us here on Ghana Tonight. And this is quite a troubling development, but the arrest has brought some relief to the police. Tell us about how the town folk have been reacting to the news of the arrest of these 2 young men.
Well, thank you. The local folks or people within WA is just a mixed reaction, if I should put it, because at one breath, many are happy for the arrest made so far because they think that at long last, some kind of punitive measures will be taken against these perpetrators when finally being taken through prosecution. But some are also raising concerns to the fact that previously, since the start of these serial killings, we know and we were told clearly that about 21 suspects were arrested. And later on, we were told by the then Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, when he was briefing Parliament, and he says somewhere around Friday, March 3, 2023, he indicated that out of the 27 suspects arrested, 18 were discharged according to or per the advice of the Attorney General. And people were expecting to hear or know what happened to the remaining 19. But as it stands, there is no clear communication as to the status of proceedings or what actually happened to the remaining 19 suspects. So arresting or police closing up with these new 2 arrests is something that though others are happy, but people are asking questions to know how and why the police arrested these people, and to what extent will this bring sanity to the Wa community. So that has been the reactions and the major topical things among local folks.
And talk about the local folk as well, because the areas where this incident happened, this particular development sent some fears down the spine of the people who are living there. Now, you've been talking to them over time. What exactly is the state of affairs now with these places where some people even had to flee the area because of these mysterious murders?
Actually, people or residents are not fleeing the area. However, those that are working around those vicinities, that is to say the watchmen, they are being conscious, and parents or relatives of watchmen are always consistently advocating for a more secure environment and protective kind of tools to support this watchman. And now the dynamic is changing a bit. Initially, if you hear of a watchman, normal is an elderly person. But since the inception of this kind of killings, the tangent is more or less shifting a bit, because now young or adult people are now being employed to handle or to man this kind of job, or to take post when it comes to security, unlike we used to see elderly people who barely can even walk, who were doing or performing these duties. However, one of the notable places that people are still kind of living in fear has to do with the Dori area. That is where the recent incident occurred. And during the past incidents, that area again came up. So this one adding up to the incident, because the driver mate who lost his life, that incident also occurred around Dori, closer to the latest incident where Issa Yahaya was murdered. So that area has become a kind of hotspot for people, and residents are actually not happy with the situation, despite the fact that there is police post and this anti-robbery people stationed there. All these incidents keep or are still occurring within that area. So the assembly member is someone that has always been complaining. Even from my last engagement with him, he was on the neck of the assembly, appealing that they should at least improve security situation or lighting situation within the area, so that it can help expose or unravel some of these incidents.
Update. And let's go on to the telephone now. And Dr. Victor Doke is a security analyst, also a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Dr. Doke, appreciate your time. And this is a case that when we recorded these mysterious murders, we spoke to you. The police say this arrest of these 2 gentlemen is a major breakthrough in their investigation. But it's not a closed case yet, is it? Especially because of the other cases that have not been resolved. What should be the approach and the thinking of the police beyond this point?
Well, thank you very much, Alfred. I think let me take this opportunity to commend the police for, taking a step further and coming out with this progress. Now, let's look at these suspects, yeah? Further investigation will have to be done, and tying these suspects to the other murders or any links with regards to associations that they may have. And that is very critical to the police's investigations to help them finalize or come to a conclusion of whether the other murders are also linked to these 2 suspects. So it is not closed yet. Now, whatever evidence that has been found with regards to any suspect would have to be ascertained whether it really is something that ties to any suspect in a murder case or not. So we may be in for a long haul with regards to establishing the facts. Otherwise, if the statements of suspects, and then statement I mean very, the evidence points out to the fact that any suspect is or has committed any kind of crime, and it means that they will have to be, prosecuted. But as it stands now, the law enforcement will have to establish whether the murders that the suspects have, in testimony said they may have committed or have committed is really the case. And then how can they, law enforcement, also tie the other cases to, whether it was these two or groups linked to these two. But I think for what has come out, there should be more than these two regards to those who are involved in this kind of criminal activities. So I think more investigation could be done, and I think they would have to widen their intelligence operations also to other environs to, establish facts.
Mamina was a soldier or that's any so bad in their dumbi edomania. You be sent shim, they are sumo consum, each politics avenue.